Have you ever tried to reach a goal and just find yourself falling short all the time and you just give up? You're just like, forget it. I'm not doing that. Right. Well, tonight, Debbie and I are going to treat you to basically part two of our goal setting conversation and the secrets to setting and achieving your goals. Now, if you don't set specific goals, you're going to end up working for someone who is, and you're also not going to reach your goals. We also talked a little bit about setting goals in by me, which is where you're just like, if I work hard enough, I'm going to get everything I want. I'm just going to keep working harder and harder. And eventually I will see my goal. And I know a lot of people who that's how they go through their entire lives. And at 67, 70, they get to retire. And it's okay. It works for some people, right? But if it's not your plan to do that, live your whole life just trying to reach that goal of retiring, and you'd rather enjoy your life a little bit more, keep listening. The other way that you can set your goals is in through me. And through me, for those of you that aren't familiar with these terms, is more of getting your heart and your mind aligned so that the goals that you're trying to reach carry more significance for you. And when we do that, it makes all of our decisions easier because we're focused on that goal and it aligns with our values and our morals and the things that we believe in. So I urge you to work on setting goals in through me. And when you apply all four principles that Debbie and I have talked about, and we're doing the third and fourth principle tonight, you will achieve your goals and you will feel more successful and just fulfilled for doing so. So doing this makes magic real. You can just ask either one of us, really. And Debbie, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with sharing our stories on how changing the way we set our goals has changed our lives?
Um, I'll go first and tell my story. My story is it's a long story. It takes place over a long period of time. And when you are in through me, as you mentioned, you're basically flowing with the river of life, or however you want to phrase it. I'll say the river of life. And in my case, a lot of times, you don't know how and when things are going to happen, and the how is none of your business. And I'm going to take myself back to when I was in high school and university. So I told you it was a long time ago. I actually had a real deep passion for food and nutrition. And I actually started university in, back then it was called the Faculty of Home Economics, which I think they wouldn't be allowed to say that anymore. But taking food and nutrition. And I was always fascinated about how our food impacts our health. But I just couldn't see a clear path for that field and where my career would be. I didn't really see that there was much opportunity to be a dietitian. And so I made a different choice and I ended up pursuing math and actuarial science. How go figure, so different, leading me to a career I just retired from for over 35 years in a corporate career in pensions. And I excelled at my career and I climbed that corporate ladder. But at as I was getting close to retirement, I was looking for something else. I was looking for something like my purpose. What was my passion? And that was a hard thing. And it took me back as I was kind of coming around to that time when I was younger, and I didn't even realize that how it would tie back, but it did. And so now I've reconnected with that passion of nutrition, and I have a big vision to impact over 1 million people by helping them to create the health of their dreams using food as medicine. And it's so interesting that those skills that I built over my corporate career, some of the strategic thinking and problem solving, and I was working in HR, so I was connecting with a group of people that now are invaluable into this new chapter of my life. And this is a journey that I didn't expect. I didn't realize I was going to be going this way, and I'm only just beginning to see how those connections between my career and my work and my mission and passion are coming together. And I realized that it was all preparing me for this next journey. And I had no idea that was what it was doing. So when you feel that life is taking a detour, remember that every experience that you have is shaping you for something bigger. And sometimes it might take a while, hopefully not 35 years, to see how all the pieces fit together. Yeah, so that's my story of my goal. I had no idea that all those things were coming together to feed me into who I need to become today.
I love that story. And my actual career is similar to that. Like, I did not choose special education. I always say special education chose me. And I am very passionate about it and I love it. And with that being said, um, I've part of that, part of this goal setting and living our life with these intentions and with our heart and our mind in coherence, we have to be living our best life now, like giving what we're into, right? Our best, because that's what we've agreed to do, right? Like, no matter what job you had. Um, and for me, I had chosen education, but I I was doing it diligently and with all my best efforts and everything. And then the opportunity came up to be in special education. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like, so I had to basically go back to school, but I accepted the invitation. And then I was able, they're like, also, while you're, in there, why don't you just finish up and get your master's degree as well? And I was like, of course. Now I had a lot going on in my life, right? I was a mom of two young boys. I actually ended up pregnant with my third at in the end of this master's program. There was a lot going on in life. But, and this is why, like, but my goal at the time was to procure a full-time teaching job because I did not have one at the time. But that was my goal because I knew that if I could get a full-time teaching job, I could take care of my family better, and financially, my life would be good. And I enjoyed teaching because that's why I chose it, right? And as it turns out, the special education was the perfect fit for me and my teaching career. And I've now been there for about 20 years. So that being said, like, it was kind of like a through me goal, right? At the time, because I was like, I'm going to teach elementary ed, da, 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 not gen ed, not special ed, not, I'm like, I don't feel like that's the right thing for me. But when the opportunity presented itself, I took it and it's paid off. And it was easy to make the choice to get that degree. It was easy to make the choice to get my master's because my goal at the time was to take care of my family. So it was easy and it didn't feel like a sacrifice. And I look back now, if I told you what a day was like, even I go, oh my gosh, like, how did I do it? Right. But because it was from my heart, it was easy, even though it was hard. And here I am 20 years later, still loving it. But like Debbie, also looking for something else in my life. And so I've gone on this EMF journey and trying to change direction with my life and my choices as well. So hopefully those stories shed a little light on the difference between just setting a goal um, to become or do something that is not aligned with who you truly are. Because in Debbie's story, she was living a life that was preparing her for now. And she just discovered, like, oh my gosh, this is what I wanted all along. And it lights her up. And I back then was looking for the way to take care of my family, wasn't sure how it was going to go. And then the opportunity presented itself. And it's been a super huge blessing that I accepted the invitation to follow. So, with that being said, we're going to move on and have you think a little bit about, go ahead.
The real reason that you set goals. It's not to achieve them. So think back to the last time you set a goal. And, was it a number on the scale or some money in the bank you wanted, or maybe a promotion at work, or maybe to get a full time job? Whatever it was, I want to ask you, how did it feel to chase that goal? And did you find yourself getting caught up in the pressure of achieving it? Or did you find a sense of flow and purpose throughout the journey? And so we want to share today the powerful shift in perspective that Deb was talking about when you transform the way you think about your goals. And the real purpose of setting goals is not to achieve the goal itself, but to discover who you need to become in the process. And if we want to start with something fundamental, there are two laws in nature that everything abides by, and that is growth and contribution. And every living thing on this planet, from the tiniest little seed to the tallest tree, is in constant state of growth, always reaching for the light wherever it happens to grow. And it is contributing, whether it's providing shade and oxygen and beauty to the world around it. The same is true for us. When we're setting a goal, it's not about getting that shiny object or that moment of glory. It's about aligning ourselves to these laws of nature, growing into the person who is worthy of the goal and contributing in a way that enhances the world around us. And now here's the secret. When the goal presents itself to you, only when you are worthy of it. So in my case, when I started, when I was in university, I wasn't worthy of what I wanted to do. And it took 35 years to get there. But it's not about having a clear path to the goal. It's about the journey that you undertake to grow, to evolve, and to align with the qualities that are needed to reach the goal. And trust me, if your goal is big enough and it really challenges you, then obstacles are going to show up. And obstacles aren't roadblocks, they are your teachers. They are the reason you are here to serve. They are shaping the person that you are so that you can handle the weight of that goal that you have. So instead of resisting those obstacles or roadblocks, if you call them that, I invite you to welcome them and see every challenge as an opportunity to grow and refine yourself, to deepen your connection with those laws of growth and contribution. And now imagine you set your goal to run a marathon or a triathlon, and you've never run more than a mile in your life. Maybe you've never run more than a block in your life. At first, it's going to feel impossible. Your legs are going to hurt. You're going to be out of breath. You're going to be gasping for breath. And every step is going to be a struggle. Maybe you have to walk, like run for 5 seconds and walk for 10 seconds. But before you know it, as you continue, something amazing happens. Your body adapts, your mind strengthens, and you are no longer looking to run that marathon as your goal, just going to be part of the person you've become, a runner. And that's how goals work. They're not the destination, but the process. So you have to trust the process, and it will reveal the best version of you. And that version will always be in alignment with growth and contribution and always ready to give back more than it takes. So, next time when you're setting your goals, think about it differently. Don't focus on the end result. Instead, ask yourself, who do I have to become to achieve this? And am I aligning myself with growth and contribution? And when those obstacles show up, and they will, trust me, then trust those obstacles that they are there to help you become the person worthy of your goal. So take a moment to reflect on your goal and see if you can shift your focus from achievement to becoming worthy of it. And remember, it's all part of the journey that we're on. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Deb to talk about
Yeah,
why we want to have big goals, but focus
right.
small.
I love that. So much gold in everything you just said there. So amazing. So awesome. Yes. Principle 4, dream big, but focus small. And Napoleon Hill said that we all need a definite chief aim. And that is this big goal. Like what's your, and have focus like a laser beam on this one thing, right? Now, obviously, we know Napoleon Hill, very successful, many, many words of wisdom, but this is probably one of the best. So he tells us, and we learn that many of us have visions for what we want in our life. Okay. And then there's a definite chief aim. And the difference is in a vision, you're seeing a near future you. Okay. So a vision, I envision myself, somewhere shortly down 3 to 6 months out, maybe a year even. Okay. And so I say I can lose 10 pounds in 6 to 12 months. I can start running a couple miles a day in 3 to 6 months. I can do these things, right? But we can see that. We're like, I could do that. I know how I'm going to get there. I'm like, all right, all I have to do is start running. Well, you might even start with walking because I have thought about this marathon thing before. Maybe I'll start by walking a mile every day. And once I get to like about 10-minute mile, oh, maybe I'll make it 2 miles. And then maybe I will start actually running the miles instead of walking the miles, right? But I can see how I would achieve that goal. And I believe it's absolutely possible that I could go run um, maybe not a marathon, but like a 5K pretty quick within 6 months to a year, right? Starting today. But a definite chief aim is a much bigger goal. And like Debbie said, it's not so much about attaining the goal as becoming who and what I want to become along the way. So, what would a definite chief aim be? So, for myself, and I believe Debbie, we are both looking at kind of changing our careers, if you want to call them that. I just say my life, like what I'm doing on a daily basis, I would like it to change. As much as I love teaching, there are other things that are even bigger and dearer to my heart because teaching is so dear. It's a huge passion of mine. But I'd like to continue teaching, but in a different capacity where I get to impact people's lives. And that's why I became an elite mentorship trainer on top of a teacher, and why I went on this huge journey for myself first, because I recognize that in order to help anyone, I have to help myself first. So my definite chief aim, though, at this point, she's saying a million, which I love, and it's huge. My goal would be to change 100 people's lives within the next 2 years. So I kind of gave myself a time limit and that, but that's a big goal. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's where my attention has been focused over the past year and a half, really, at this point, is on learning and growing, learning how I can contribute the most, where I can contribute the most. And so the idea behind there is not so much about my story as about for other people when you're setting your goals? Are you making them big goals or are you making them safe goals where you're like, I know how to get to this next spot? Or is it something a little scary but reasonable? Big enough to scare you, but possible. You can say, like, that might actually be possible if I do some certain things, take some certain actions, right? And this, I know that's almost sounds contradictory to what I just said earlier. Like, if I just work hard, I could do it, right? I didn't say that achieving your goals wouldn't require any work, that it would be easy. But what happens is when your heart is aligned with that definite chief aim that you have created, it feels easier because you don't need to conjure up um, motivation. You just continue to reflect on why you chose this goal in the first place, and you will be forever inspired. And that is a huge difference. Needing motivation, self discipline, and all of that's small parts of it. But when you're inspired to do the thing that you're doing, um, it feels good to do it. Even if sometimes you're like, oh, I don't feel like it today. But once you do it, you're like, yeah, I'm so glad I did that. That's the feeling you're looking for. Um, a huge obstacle, though, that a lot of people face, and give me a little what, if this resonates with you, but we set our goals, right? Or we think about some big goals and we think, I can't do that, though. Nobody's going to listen to me. I don't have the certification. I don't have the qualification. A lot of times the thing that is aligned with your heart and you're feeling drawn to it, you're qualified because something in your life happened that qualifies you to help other people or to pursue whatever dream that is. Like maybe it's not even to help others necessarily. Like maybe you want to be like a world-class dancer, right? And you're like, yeah, but I could never do that. I've never been very coordinated. Guess what? You can. You can go get some lessons and start real small and work your way. And some things are going to happen that are unexpected to you. People might come into your life that are like, hey, I just happen to teach these amazing lessons, right? So somebody can help you no matter what your big goal is. Um, and as Peter would say, Peter Sage, he would say that people cannot rise above the opinion of themselves. And what that means is if you don't think you're worthy of achieving the goal, you're not going to achieve it. And I know Debbie referenced the word worthy earlier as well. And that's all part of it. It's not about self value, but it's saying, are you living a life that's aligned with what you really want to, what you're seeking? And have you gone through the other steps so that, like, I don't want to just throw you out in the world like that, even with my teaching. Like, they don't want to just throw me out in the world, be like, go teach, go teach some kids, right? No, you have to go through the process. I had to grow, I had to learn. And even today, with 20 years experience, I'm a whole different person than I was when I first started. I've become a master teacher of special ed and elementary education. So in this process, I'm also just starting out early on this journey, but I'm growing every day and I'm getting one step closer to my definite chief aim. So Um, don't say that it's impossible. You have to know that it's possible to reach the dream in order for it to happen. Um, so, in summary, where you focus is your power. Remember, Napoleon Hill said you have to focus to get your goal. Um, if you know how you're going to reach the goal, it's too small. Dream bigger. And the real purpose of your goals is in becoming the kind of person that does the thing that you want to do. So I say, instead of making it a goal, make it, actually, Peter Sage says this. I'm sorry, I would not want to steal his words. And I know he wouldn't mind, but make it a magnificent obsession. Become obsessed with your goal, but in a really healthy, heart and mind centered way. And I hope that resonates
Nice.
with this.
Nice. Make it an obsession.
Yes,
I love
magnificent.
that. All right. So today we've explored the real purpose of setting goals, which isn't about the goal itself. It's about who you become in the process. But once you've embraced that mindset, it's time to dream big whilst focusing small, as Deb said. And it's time to break down those big, audacious goals, that DCA, that definite chief aim, into manageable steps and take the first step with intention and clarity. And remember, you just need to know the first step. The how is really none of your business. It will happen. You just have to take that first step. And so now we want to invite you to take this journey a step further and imagine creating a life that you love. And it's not just about reaching your goals, but it's about living in alignment with your true purpose. And on Saturday, August 31st, so that's in just over 2 weeks, we are hosting a Create a Life You Love workshop. This isn't just another seminar, it's a transformational experience that you will engage in a series of powerful exercises designed to help you focus on where you want to be in the next year to year and a half. Think about where you're going to be when you ring in the new year in 2026. And this workshop is your first step on the path to creating the life you've always dreamed of. It's about setting that definite chief aim, your purpose, and aligning your goals with who you want to become. And so, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your growth to the next level, this is where the journey begins. So, I encourage you, we both encourage you to
Yeah.
take action now and register in our description below. You will find, click the link below and reserve your spot. And let's get started on this journey together, because the life that you love is waiting for you. And we're just saying, now go create it. And we're going to help you get there.
All right.
All right. So we will say, I guess, good night. And we look forward to seeing you in next week and also in our workshop to create a life that you love. Bye for now.